Okay, looks like we're all set. Let's do this. So, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Pierre, your host. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I know that I did. I worked most of it, but still, it was kind of enjoyable. And so, my friends, as you can tell, we finished this painting last Friday, which is always a cool thing to do. We've been working on this for several weeks. So what we're going to do basically today is roll it up and unroll a new canvas, put some gesso on it, and we'll start our day, first of all, by going over to the computer, checking out what we did, our last strokes on this painting, and see how we got to finalize it. So let's look at this quick recap. Yes, we added some colors on these last stars. We shadowed on our sperms by adding some red to them, giving it some depth and some richness. And then what did we do? Was that it? I can't remember, to be honest with you. Oh yes, we added these little white stars just to make our frame a little more aesthetic. And then finally, we put that little bright yellow dot in the middle, and we signed the painting and whatever. So, the timing of this was perfect last week because I had a gallery owner come in my studio, and he actually took 15 or 16 of my paintings, including this one, which we had just finished the day before. So the timing could not have been better. And am I allowed to say that I love this painting? I don't know. Do I have to be modest? Well, if I do, well, I blew it. Because to be honest with you, I really love this painting. I've done several similar ones quite a few years ago, and I was always very nervous throughout this entire painting, not knowing how it was going to turn out. Anyways, it turned out to be great. But at the same time, I'm not very difficult. From my very first painting 40 years ago, I was so happy with the result that's what started me on this wonderful adventure of painting. And I'm going to show you right now, actually, I'm going to come back to the computer right here, and I'm going to show you what my first painting was. I just came back from South America, and my first painting was of a little boy in the jungle. And I was just so happy about this painting. It just expressed everything that I was feeling at the time. And as you can see, this is my very first painting that I did 40 years ago in 1981. Right when my daughter was born, actually. And I was just really, this is the painting that expressed exactly what I was feeling. And I decided this is what I'm going to do. I stopped being a bass player because I was into playing the bass, and decided, okay, well, I'm going to start a new career, and I'm going to go into painting. So anyways, that said, the other thing that happened last week when this gallery owner came in, he said, well, it's wonderful. All your paintings are great, but most of them are like this one, on canvas, stapled to the wall. And of course, if someone wants to buy this painting, the gallery is going to have to glue this painting on a stretched frame. And just to make it easier to hang into people's houses. But the problem is, from what the gallery owner told me, is that your sizes are all just like whatever you felt like seeing. And it's true. Every time I'd bring in a roll of canvas, I'd unroll it, look at a size that made me happy, cut it up, stapled it to the wall, and never really gave a damn about the size if it complied to the norms. So anyways, he asked me if it wasn't too much of a big deal for me to figure out the norms, the normal sizes of these canvases, and leave like a little edge all the way around so it would be easier for them to put it on a framed canvas if somebody wants to buy it. So no big deal, really. So I said, sure. So anyways, today we're going to unroll a size canvas that I usually do. We'll put it on the wall, but instead of me painting right to the edge like I did on this painting, well, I'm going to leave like a little border on all four sides just so that they can stretch it after I measure off what is the normal size, I guess. And I'm going to go for one size here, which is 146 centimeters by 97. That is the standard size. I'm going to make it, of course, a lot bigger than that. And eventually I will draw that size and we will paint within that framework. So at least we're going to give it a try, right? It can't hurt. So first of all, where are we here? First of all, I'm going to go in my back room and get a roll of painting of one of my rolled out paintings. There we go. And then we're going to roll the new canvas on top of this one. So this is the roll of my previous painting that we did here. And I'm just going to stand back 1 second. Just take one more look at this painting, if you don't mind, before I roll it out and ship it away. I should put this in my apartment, actually. But anyways, we'll see. So let me just do this. It's going to be a short stream today anyways, because once I cut the right size and staple it to the wall, all that I'll have to do is just put a coat of gesso and we won't be able to do anything else until the paint dries, till tomorrow. So let me just grab these last staples that are on this canvas, take them off. The staples are painted right in the canvas. There we go. There's one of them. Come on, baby. Man, there we go. There's two, and then the last one right here should be easier to come off. Okay, there we go. So let me put this back over here. Grab a new roll of canvas. So this is 160 centimeters. So let me just put a few cans of paint on the end right here. And I'll just grab camera number one, bring that down so you can see exactly what I'm doing over here. That's where the action is taking place. So I'm just going to put, like I said, a few cans of paint down here just to hold the canvas so I can measure it more accurately. So I need what? Scissors, pencil, measuring tape, and a ruler. I think that's basically what I need to cut this up, and then I'll staple it to the wall. Okay, so here's got all this set. So what am I going for again? 166 by 120. So I don't think I'll have the 166, or will I? Actually, I will. So that's perfect. So 166, and then all I have to unroll is what? 120, and I'll actually only use 97 centimeters out of that 120. So let's not waste any time. Let me switch cameras because like that, it'll be easier for me to edit my movie afterwards. I'm just going to unroll this. There we go. Now I can come back to the dual cameras and measure off. How much did I say again? 120. That's 1.20 meters. And that's actually what I used to, this my standard size that I use usually, except this time I won't paint the whole thing. I'm going to leave a margin of 10 centimeters on either side so that it can be stretched in the future, and just in case I sell the painting. I have no idea what I'm going to paint really, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure that out later. So let me get down here on my knees. I'm going to measure off 120 centimeters right over here. Make a little crow's foot. There we go. One in the middle. Make sure we have a nice straight line. There we go. And one more way over here at 120 centimeters also. Okay, now let's grab the ruler. And again, because I am thinking of editing my movie afterwards, I am just going to move this camera a little bit like this. There we go, like that. I'll be in the field. Usually I don't like being in the lens, but in this particular case, I do. So there we go. Very good. So now let's cut this baby up. Carefully, of course, because if we screw up for this painting, then the next painting will be screwed up as well. So this is the part where we want to take a little bit of time to be as accurate as possible. Okay, there we go. So, bada boom, bada boom. So let me put this baby away. And I might as well grab these can of paints that I've been, ouch, breaking everything. So, where am I here? Let me get to the dual cameras like that. So again, thinking of my movie, so let me get my staple gun. Again, thinking of editing the movie, since I don't have a cameraman, I am going to have to do this in 2 phases. I'm going to go to the camera number 1, where I'm going to just pick up the canvas and bring it over, just like that. And I'm going to stop the whole thing, put it back down, bring the camera number 1 back up to the wall where it's going to be stapled, and I'm just going to do the whole thing over again. And so let's go back to camera number 1, picking up my canvas, and this time we're going to just staple it where it's going to be painted, right here. And I'm going to use my previous marks. I have a nice straight edge, just like that. Oh là là, putain, il m'a fait peur l'autre. Ok. Putain. Bonjour, Jaman. Oui, ça va. Okay, so let me make sure this is nice and straight, though. It doesn't hurt to double check. I want to make sure the edges are nice and vertical. And actually, this left-hand side looks slightly crooked. It looks like the left-hand side could come down a whisker. So let me just bring that left-hand side down just a little bit. How about like that? Let me double check on that now. Oh, yeah. I think that's close enough. You know, I'm just going to assume that it's good enough. Still looks slightly crooked on this side, but screw it. Now, this is the part that makes me a little nervous, is drawing out that 166 by 120. So I want to go 146 and 97. So 146 will be the final. Okay, so 146 by 97. So let me get the 97 part done first. So I don't know. What does that mean? 120. So what happens if I leave like 11 on the top? 11 on the top and I go down 97. What's that going to give me? There we go, 97. What does that leave me on the bottom? 11, little more than 11. So that's perfect. That is definitely the right height. So what are we going? 97. So we set 11 centimeters from the top. And from this mark, we'll go down 97. Which is right about there. And then what do we want across? Across we want 146. So I'm going to draw this top line first. Just like that. Okay, now we got that line. Salut! Now that we got that line, we got to figure out the 146. The 146 is right about there. Why don't I make a little mark here? That leaves me quite a bit on the edge, 11 centimeters on the edges, just like on the top and bottom. So that looks pretty good. So 146. And 146 brings me right to here, which leaves how much? 10 centimeters. Well, screw it. That looks pretty damn good. So now I have to figure out the same thing on the bottom. From the edge of the canvas to my marker, I have exactly 12 centimeters and 3 millimeters. $12.3 right there. Oops. Again, I need that. My ruler's not long enough to do the whole canvas. So what do we have? We have 11.7 from the bottom. So let's go 11.7. There we go. Might as well get this edge done as well, since we have the measurements there. Okay. And then we're going to just measure the same thing as we did on top, which was again 146. 146 starting from here. So that's 2 times 73, right? So just going to do it like that, just to be as accurate as possible. And we'll go to 83, which is right here. Okay, so theoretically, that is our canvas, standard canvas size. I can work with that. That looks okay. It's going to be weird to leave that little white edge all around it. Especially I who like to paint frames, but fuck it. I mean, sorry, screw it. Whatever. So let's, now the problem with this kind of these canvases that are already have a coat of industrial gesso on them. This is, if I started painting on this, it would be like if I was painting on glass. It would be a real pain in the neck. My paint wouldn't stick, it would glide. I tried it the first time I bought these kind of rolls of painting, a nightmare. So now I put on a coat of gesso. It takes 5 minutes, it wastes 1 day because you have to wait for it to dry, but it's well worth it. So I am going to do that right now. Just get my brush wet. Where's my little spoon? Here it is. Gonna just add a tad of water. There we go. And I'm gonna blend this gesso together. God, I'm almost out as well. I probably won't even have enough to do the whole canvas here. Damn it. I totally forgot about this. So I might have to go tomorrow and buy some more and do this whole thing over again tomorrow. But anyways, let's do as much as we can today. I mean, obviously, if this canvas was stretched, you would have to do the whole thing in one shot. But since it's just stapled to the wall, it really is no big deal if we don't cover the whole thing. It's not going to shrink or anything as it would on a stretch surface. So that looks pretty good. Let me grab my wide brush out. There's one of these brushes I guess are made for painting on a wall or something. It's all artificial hairs, which I hate and I never paint with. But to do this kind of work, it doesn't really matter. And I bought it because it was a nice size to get this job done quickly. So let's go ahead and do as much as we can. I can see right away we're not going to get very far. Damn, what a pisser. How could I have forgotten that? But anyways. Okay, so let's go for it. And if this was a stretch canvas, it's important to start from the center and work your way to the outskirts. When the canvas is already stapled to the wall, it doesn't matter because it's not going to shrink as it would on a frame with an unprimed canvas. So, but I keep the habit of doing that, starting from the center and working my way out. Look at this long, beautiful hair. Get that long hair out of there. I'm not going to have enough gesso anyways, so I'm going to do my best, and then we'll have to call it quits, and I'll have to go buy some tomorrow. So let's see how accurate I can be. This was a bunch of little crap mixed in with the paint since it's at the bottom of the can. And this is about as much as I can do. I'm out of paint, out of gesso. And I remember last time when I primed the last canvas thinking, okay, I'm going to have to buy some more gesso. And of course, once I started painting, I concentrated so much on the painting that I totally forgot about buying more gesso. Too bad, because I didn't really need all that much more. I got about half of it done. Damn. Don't need that much more either. I wonder if in my friend Francois' studio, if he doesn't have any gesso. I'll be right back. I'm just going to go over here to the next studio over and take a look if he doesn't have a jar of gesso I could use. I really don't need that much. So he has a few jars of something. I don't know what it is. What is this? Gesso, but it's empty. Gesso, but it's empty. How about this last one? So 3 cans of gesso and all 3 of them. Ah, fuck, this last one is sealed so tight. So there's a little bit left in this jar and from my friend's studio. Let's see if I can. I'll replace it, of course. You guys know I'm not a thief, right? So let's continue on this. Now that he helped us out, should have plenty. There really wasn't that much left to do, so it would have been a drag to have to wait till tomorrow to finish this and then wait for the next day for it to dry. But by being a thief, I will finish the task at hand. And my friend will never even know. Unless I tell him, of course. Will I tell him that I finished off his last jar? He probably doesn't remember. How honest am I? How much of a crook am I? I might as well take my time and do a good job up here. And I'm thinking that now if I'm going to be leaving an edge on these canvases for the galleries to be able to stretch, maybe I should buy unprimed canvas from now on. This uses a little more gesso. Anyways, we got plenty of gesso when we have our neighbors who are rich. So, just stand over here and make sure I got the whole canvas primed. Doesn't look too bad. I can just put gesso over the pencil marks because I can see through them anyway, so that's pretty. There we go. Can go right to the over the pencil line. It's not a bad idea like that. I'm sure I won't let the pencil won't stain my actual painting, depending what color I use. So do it right here too. All right, so very good. Very good. We're all done for the day. Put this back in Francois' studio in a few minutes. This I can take to the garbage can. Wipe off my hands before I touch my computer to sign off. Okay. All right, so very good. Let me just step back for a second, take a look at this magnificent artwork. So this is a pretty good size painting. I don't mind being a little bit short. What I would have done normally is just, I would have cut off this canvas edge and I would have just painted to the very edge. So what the heck, no big deal. So, my friends, I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you'll join me tomorrow as we discover what we're going to do, because right now I have no idea what colors I'm going to be using or even what the symbolism or what I'm going to do. But I have all night to figure that out. Usually I make that decision the next day when I walk in the studio, so we'll see. Anyways, I want to thank you very much for joining me. I'm going to leave you, like usual, with two things. The first one, of course, is my schedule. And the second one is by saying, ciao, mes amis.